Now that everybody's present, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please rise for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd ask for a moment of silence, please. Okay, I want to welcome everybody who's here, who's watching, who will be watching. I'm going to start with roll call. Today I'm going to start with Commissioner Stephen.
Here.
Mr. Culberson.
Here.
Mr. Cos.
Here.
Mike Smith here. Commissioner Smith.
Here.
All right. On public comment, I think Mr. John Matthews wants to speak. Go ahead, John.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
John.
For the record, my address is 17629 166th Street, Baser, Kansas. I'm here today concerned about the issue on the agenda about going over this special use permit for this organization because apparently they didn't consider something when they made their original presentation. We both know that myself and my fellow planning commissioners voted it down, and it was a downvote by the 5 of you. 3-2, I believe, was the count. What I'm really concerned about is whether you go ahead or not, are we not setting a precedent, if you approve it this time, where in the future anybody who comes in with the SUP that gets turned down, they're going to turn around and say, well, you did it for A, B, and C. You have to do it for me. That's my concern, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews.
Thank you, John. Is there anybody else? I don't believe there was, Mark. Okay, we'll move to administrative business. Mark, you have anything?
Commissioners, you received a letter requesting some gravel for a cemetery in the north end of the county. Distributed that to y'all yesterday, and I just wanted to, if you want to consider that request or not.
Mark, for everybody to know, what don't you tell about the location, so everybody's watching?
Well, the exact location I'm not familiar with. It's in the Easton Township, and the Easton Township Board requested it's a gravel for the driveway of this cemetery. It's not an area we normally as a county maintain.
Okay.
That's why it's a special request.
So what's the normal procedure on these? Is this something, I'm not familiar with it. This has come before me since I've been on the commission.
This is the first time we've had a request like this. Typically, it would be the township's responsibility. Commissioner Culberson knows more.
So there really isn't a normal procedure when it comes to abandoned township cemeteries. Every state and county handles abandoned cemeteries differently. The state of Kansas has a statute that says when a cemetery officially becomes abandoned, the lowest form of government by statute has to take over maintenance of that cemetery, mowing the grass, if it needs gravel, etc. Lowest form of government would mean if it's in a city, the city takes care of it. Greenwood Cemetery is an example of that in Leavenworth. Evergreen is an example of that out in the county. So the townships are responsible for the maintenance. To me, like I said, there's no real normal when you're talking about abandoned cemeteries. We did a project that turned up 175 cemeteries in Leavenworth County. About 50 of those are abandoned cemeteries. About a dozen of those haven't been touched for a long time. There were, trees a foot in diameter growing up through the headstones. So we started this project of contacting the townships and getting them to understand the statute, but there was no budget, for any of the maintenance. So they started budgeting for things like this. To me, it's a left pocket, right pocket thing. If the taxpayers are paying for it in the township, then that's one thing. And if the overall county taxpayers are paying something, that's something else. but it's still taxpayer dollars. The townships have a very small budget, so anything at all is a big deal to them. So I think in this case, they just need a little bit of gravel. They can budget to pay for the materials to get the material there. The county shops, that's like what they do. So we were just thinking that we could have the county shop deliver the gravel, but the township pay the county for the gravel. Each township, and the way our county handles it, is each township takes care of the abandoned cemeteries within that district. So it, in essence, makes a cemetery benefit district per township. So in this case, Easton Township would be the maintainer of Evergreen. And as far as how many cemeteries would probably do the same request down the road, there's only 5 or 6 that are similar situations. So I don't think you're going to start a big landslide.
But the townships do take care of the cemeteries. Fairmount's got 2.
Mowing the grass.
Stranger's got, They take
every
care of it.
Sherman has
maintain.
several.
Yeah,
almost
so
every
it's turned into a
township
big
has
deal.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think-
250.
How many cemeteries?
Yeah.
There's 175 cemeteries in the county. There's about 50 abandoned cemeteries.
How much?
And of those 50 abandoned, about a dozen of them are being taken care of like this, where the township's paying for the grass mowing.
And oftentimes nonprofits or groups will kind of take over and
How much money are we talking
things,
about?
but-
I don't have an estimate yet. The request just came in yesterday. I think that
It's not going to be substantial.
A couple $100.
It's not gonna be
the
substantial.
cost is probably not significant for a one request. It's the concern of the multiple requests. that
That's
may
my
come,
concern.
And then the staff commitment. And that's why I brought it to the board.
And like I said,
Have a policy.
there's only about 5 or 6 cemeteries that would be like this one that might come and ask for some
Yeah, but
gravel.
any township could ask if they're maintaining a cemetery.
Yeah, but like I said, there's only 5 or 6 that are being
Abandoned.
maintained by the township that would
There's
fall into
2
this
in-
category.
2 in Fairmount, 1 in Stranger. Abandoned 1 in Stranger off County Road 9.
Mm-hmm.
And
think
you
there's
got
one
2 down there on
the Indian one?
Golden.
Yeah, I can give you a list of them.
Golden, then you got the one on the end of 166 down in there.
I don't know the name of it.
Lenape. And that's
Is
called
that,
the Lenape.
is that the abandoned one, Lenape?
Yeah.
I'm in favor of this, but I think we should develop a policy or something. I think we should.
Now, I'm not for taking anything from the roads. Because I used to have
Well-
to do this. I used to have to schedule for these things and go to fires at township fire department, stuff like that, and it just pulls away from the roads.
Jeff,
That's just my opinion.
Does this, is there things being put in place so that's a one-time thing, or are we're gonna see this every year, and it's gonna add up to be more? I mean, I don't
see it
want,
that
I don't
way.
want to see this coming before us every time there's a shortage, because we've got bills to pay too.
Sure. Well, I mean, the option is the township will just raise the mill levy a little bit for that township to add gravel on the budget. I mean,
It's only a couple $100. You probably get a couple people out in your area to throw in some money.
yeah, and like I said, I understand what Doug's saying. We don't want to start everybody coming and asking, but there's only, I'd say, 5 or 6 that might come and ask. And
That's still enough for the road department to have to deal with. And, that's just my take, because I had to live it, had to pull people off jobs and do stuff for that kind of thing.
Those are the kind of things I just think we need to see before budget and during budget. Even though I know it's a small amount, Jeff, and I'm definitely for helping anybody that's with stuff like that. And my only concern with this is I don't want to see it reoccurring over and over. You know how tight our budget is on as far as streets and the things we're doing right now. Yeah. Okay.
Could turn into snow removal too. I've just seen it. I lived it, and
well, the
I just
option
want
is
to
either.
keep the road department on the roads.
Yeah, I mean, we're saying we're going to charge the township for the gravel, for the material. It's just the delivery that we're asking the county shop to cover. So they're paying for the gravel.
Do they just need somebody to get it out to them? Is that the main?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the option is the township can budget for it and hire a company, private company to come and do it, but that costs more than it would cost the county shop to go do it, in essence. The intrinsic cost for the county shop to do it's going to be way less. So I'm just looking at saving the taxpayers some money.
I wish Bill was up here to kind of ask him, but I mean,
the township can pay for it and it'll cost a little bit more, or I was thinking the shop could deliver and that would save the township taxpayers that couple $100. Just a thought. So I would ask for a motion, I guess. We need a motion to try to do it that way.
Is that your motion?
That the county shop deliver gravel on request to a township abandoned cemetery, if so requested.
On
I'll
an
second
ongoing basis or a temporary basis? On a
Just-
one-time
no,
basis?
Just one time, yeah.
And then I just think that this is something that,
Yeah, I'm not saying gravel it every 6 months or something. I'm just saying one time. I mean, it's probably been 20 years since the last load of gravel they got, so they're not going to be looking at getting it done
Vicki, do you have something to say?
again.
I just think that there would be, I just think that there would be someone willing to donate this type of service. I just, like,
I agree. Absolutely. It's such a small amount.
Yeah. I'm not sure we want to get into this business, but I do think I think Commissioner Cos is right. I would think there'd be someone out there that would want to step forward and do this. Jeff, I'd really like to help. I think that's just my opinion. But once we open this door, it just concerns me about going down that road.
Yeah, I understand. That's why I brought up the fact that there's only 5 or 6 that might
Right.
ask for it.
Right. Okay, we had a motion. We had a second. Any more discussion on this? Commissioner Stephen?
Yes.
Culberson?
Aye.
Cos?
hey,
No?
No.
Okay, it passes 3-2. All righty. Mark, was there anything else?
Mr. Chairman,
Or David, I'm sorry, go ahead.
if I might, if you would indulge me, and my timing could not be worse, I'd like to forward to you a request made to me yesterday on behalf of the Leavenworth Rotary Club in the city of Leavenworth. They will be conducting a cleanup of approximately 7 homes, homes whose residents are unable to care for the exterior of the yard. They would ask that the county consider waiving the transfer station fees for the materials to be transferred from those properties through the transfer station. The individual I spoke with anticipates that the majority of it would be yard waste, leaves, tree debris, et cetera, but there may be some debris, trash, junk that would need to go through the transfer station. The Rotary Club is requesting that the county consider waiving the transfer station fee for this. The project would be undertaken and completed this Saturday.
David, let me ask you this. Is this for folks that can't do it themselves?
Yes.
Okay.
And Commissioners, I've participated in these projects in the past personally. But I will just tell you, I'm not making this request as your county councilor, just citizen Mr. Van Paris.
Each residence would have a free trip.
Exactly.
They may have so, but
Yeah, so that there should be a couple free trips anyways.
I think for administrative purposes, they were hopeful not to unduly delay the process
Right.
of delivering it this Saturday, since the hours are somewhat reduced on Saturday.
Just give them the address where it's coming from, they'd have free trips anyways, and then the rest of it.
what is the fee
Commissioner,
per,
a small pickup truckload is roughly $5, sometimes up to $10. It's based on weight.
There's a minimum, but
Yeah, there's a minimum of 5. But we've got 7 homes they would be using.
Well, with folks that can't do it themselves, I don't have any problem with them reaching out with this. I personally don't have a problem with it, but commissioners, what do y'all think?
I would say Commissioner Smith's point is spot on, that each of those homes would have a
Oh, I
free
agree.
cleanup. So if we could just get
Put the addresses down they're coming from, and
just maybe
that
get
would
the
pretty
address,
much
we
wipe
can,
it out.
Exactly.
But if it doesn't, go ahead and allow it, I'd say. That'd be my motion to waive the transfer station fees for the Rotary Club for the Saturday cleanup.
Second. Motion and second. Any more discussion on it? Mr. Stephen?
Aye.
Culberson?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Commissioners, thank you for your indulgence.
All righty. Thank you, David. Anything else on administrative business there before we go up here? Anybody else up here?
I got a couple things.
Go ahead, Ted.
Apologizing in advance. Did the rest of the commissioners get the letter from the Leavenworth County Historical Society asking for a letter of support for them to apply for a grant? Do y'all get that?
I did.
Okay. Commissioners support that?
And Becky's drafting a letter right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we do some.
Yeah.
All right. We don't need a motion on
No, I
that.
don't
All right.
think so.
We'll get a letter. All right. Just want to make sure that was taken care of. And also, this is just information. The next month, all the county residents will be getting their tax bills. I would encourage everyone to look at their tax bill, look at the breakdown, look at what the school district and school bond 1, school bond 2. Look where all your money is going. I know we catch all the hate mail for the taxes, but I just encourage everyone to look at your tax statement, look at the breakdown, see what the county gets, see what the school district gets.
And maybe one step further, look at the county mill levy out of that
Right.
total mill levy and compare that to other counties in the state of Kansas and realize that Leavenworth County has the 9th lowest mill levy in the state of Kansas. There's only 8 counties in Kansas that have a lower mill levy than Leavenworth County.
And to make that even clearer, I totally agree with commissioners, is Leavenworth County has nothing to do with setting that. These are tax entities that set their own. So look what the county's taking in. And in fact, some cities are the same way. And then you look at where the big dollars are going. So I'm Jeff, you're right on as far as keeping that down and being one of the lowest. I think we do the best we can.
And I'm not picking on school district. I'm just saying, just look where the money's going, and also you live in a township. Look where your township money. I understand. I just wish someday that you could write 2 separate checks, one to the school district, one to the county,
Or them bill on their own would be
or
great.
they bill on their own.
Yeah. Open some eyes.
If you would just look at your statement, look at the breakdown, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
And then I had one other thing. I'd watched the Planning Commission meeting, was it 2 weeks ago? And it was on the rezone on the K7 and Fairmount Road, and a couple of planning commissioners voted no because they said that they felt the county commissioners want a detailed plan on what's going in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know that's what the county commissioners wanted.
Well, let me think, Doug, if I could just interrupt for a second. I've spoken with county administrator and David. What I've noticed, and if y'all are okay with it, what I've noticed is maybe we need new people come in, understand really their role about what they're supposed to be doing and what they look at. Because that point is what got my attention. It's exactly what you're saying. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that y'all were going to meet with them about the role of a planning commissioner for the ones that, the new ones, it seems like the new ones coming on are the ones that are having the issues from what I could tell at that meeting.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, a meeting will be held this afternoon at 5:30 with the members, the complete membership of the Planning Commission and your staff to go over various aspects of the roles of the Planning Commission members and conduct of meetings. That issue will be addressed at that time. Traditionally, a rezoning and a platting are separate processes because a conceptual plan that would be submitted as part of a rezoning would remain exactly that, a conceptual plan. It would not be binding. It would not vest any development rights. And so requiring such, you could make such a requirement, I think. However, the practical effect of such, I think, would simply increase the cost of any rezoning request without necessarily confining the future development to the plan that was presented.
Well, wouldn't the table of uses be considered? That's what can happen there.
each of your zoning categories has a specified table of uses, which both allows certain uses and by nature restricts certain uses within those zoning categories. So that is the matter. That issue was brought up, Commissioner Smith, at the Planning Commission, which I attended, and it was discussed as to is this an issue of the chicken and egg or the cart before the horse? But traditionally, rezonings have been with respect to placing a piece of property into that category, which would allow everything that is considered within that table of uses.
Okay. That's all I had.
Okay.
Sorry it took up so much
No, that's
time.
fine. Good question.
I
Go ahead,
think
Mike.
that some of that's going to, when we get into our work session, we'll probably hit some of that about that issue of the plan and where that fits into the whole thing.
Okay.
I don't think it does, but whatever.
Any other commissioner before we move on? Jeff?
Yeah, I was going to ask if we would be able to put a letter explaining kind of some of the stuff Doug was laying out, explaining to the taxpayers the breakdown, also the LAVTR funds, demand transfer stuff in the tax statement letters that go out. If we could double up on that mailer, if there's a way to do that.
David?
Commissioner, I know your county clerk and treasurer were working diligently yesterday to try to get the tax statements prepared for mailing. I'm not certain if you could check, but I know there were time constraints on getting those out because they need to be today.
Okay.
Oh, so I guess I should have brought this up last week.
Yeah, we did.
Weeks ago.
We just thought of it since last Wednesday, so.
Well, just one thing would go along with what you're saying. Used to, for years, City of Lansing and Nosewater, when I was manager down there for a little bit, we used to carry these little red cards and carried a lot of them because when you presented to other people or you went out and talked to folks in the community, and it's a real small, it's laminated, and it had the city's tax for the last 3 years, it had the county, it had the school, it had the population, it had the streets. And it doesn't take, it's just a real small card. And you'd be surprised how many people, going back to what you said, and going back to what don't understand. But when they got that card, and it's no big piece of paper, it's so simple, just give it to them. You'd be surprised at some of the academies or some of the things like that. People would take that, and they got something now they can refer to. It's not a big bulky piece of paper. It's not on the computer. And the cost is nothing. And with all the folks I had to speak to, when they got that, they got it then. I mean, but you can't do it. I mean, we're a population over 80,000. But the more we can get it out, and I think that's what everybody's trying to say, for people to understand that, what we're doing and what everybody else around us is doing, I'd love to have them billed separate. I thought that'd be a great idea. But we know that's just not going to happen right now.
No.
But to be able to show people, well, now that it's like a card, like a business card. Hey, I want you to look at this, and if you have any questions, call me back. You'd be surprised because a lot of us talk to a lot of people, and just a thought, and the cost is absolutely zero.
I think the League of Municipalities, I believe, but one of those organizations, they have a picture of a dollar bill, and then they have it split out on what percent of your property taxes go towards your school district, and what percent goes to the county, and what percent goes to the city, and when people see that, they're very surprised.
But one thing about it is if you even go plainer than that, I'm not having a better use, and so Limerick County, state of Kansas, the library, make it very clear that this is us. And then you go back 2 years in the history where y'all have lowered it before in the last few years, and you continue to do it. And people look at it, so they got something to compare it to. Then you look at what's going on. It also has the bonds on there for entities that have large bonds, which we know is the schools, and things like that. And people get a better understanding like, oh, okay. Now, you're always going to have folks that don't like taxes. None of us do. But this, to me, is just a simple way to say, here, I want you to take this, pass them out. You'd be surprised the results I had. That's just something I think about.
I dealt with one person when I talked about the schools. Said, well, I haven't had kids in school for 20 years. I don't pay school. I said, this conversation's over. This is not going to be productive. So
we're all
I said, call me back when you look at your tax statement and figure out the breakdown of what it's going in. We can have a conversation about it. So, hey, I just thought I'd throw that out there, and it's unfortunate we can't stuff the envelopes with some information. I guess next year we'll
Be a little smarter.
We'll start this earlier.
Sounds right.
Or
Anything-
maybe the legislature will fix it this year.
Yeah, right. Well, a moment of silence. Okay, let's go back to this. Anybody, other commissioner? Okay, consent agenda. Anything new to be pulled? None. I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Motion second. Any discussion? Mr. Stephen?
Aye.
Mr. Culberson?
Aye.
Mr. Cos?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Smith? Okay. All righty. Formal board action. Consider a motion to approve Resolution 2021-48, a special use permit for a boat storage facility for Dessler, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, boat storage located at 15829 174th Street. Good morning.
Morning, Amy.
Good morning, Commissioners. So before you is Duslier Boat Storage, which is a special use permit for a new business at 15829 174th Street in Bonner Springs, Kansas. As mentioned previously, this was considered back in September 1st by this body. There was a motion to send it back to the Planning Commission for reconsideration of the factors to see if it would be, their motion to recommend denial would change. They did review this in their October meeting, and they determined that they were not wanting to reopen the public hearing, which would require another public notification to reconsider the factors. So I guess it is now back before you guys to reconsider. Just to briefly go over what the proposal is this is for a 60 to 70 boat storage facility on the property there on 174th Street. The applicant has, I believe, a contract or is in negotiations with Quivira Lake, and what would happen was during the fall when the lake kind of closes down due to weather, he would transport the boats from the lake to his property, store it over the winter, and then when spring comes, he would hook the boats back up and take it to Quivira Lake. So he's only transporting it realistically twice a year. I don't believe he had indicated any long-term employees that would go to this site, just seasonal help to help them move the boats in the fall and the spring. So beyond that, the full analysis and his application with his narrative was in the staff report, so if you have questions, let me know.
And the applicant is here today?
I believe he is, yes.
Morning. Okay.
I just make a comment on when it went back to the Planning Commission. Our motion, I read our motion, and the motion said to return to the Planning Commission to review the golden factors that support the application. And I don't really believe when after reviewing and watching the Planning Commission meeting that's exactly what they did. I think they just kind of didn't understand that we were asking them to review the golden factors that support. And so therefore it's back to us.
I believe Commissioner Denny made a statement, not on this case, it was on another one, basically about special use permits. I believe it was on the contractor yard one. That's basically special use permits are what they are. They're special uses because they don't meet the zoning or maybe the land use study or the land use plan. So, yeah, I can see this as how I don't know how it was presented to the board in September. I didn't watch that meeting. Does any of the rest of the commissioners watch that meeting?
I did.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah. And I think part of the problem was the way it was presented. Originally, it kind of sounded like it was open to the public. This is not
On
like
a gravel
storage
road.
unit.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, so this is not open to the public, correct?
No, there might be confusion from what Ledford Boat Storage, which was at the same meeting, versus this one. But, I mean, from staff's perspective, I think we always try to phrase it that this is a closed facility, that is just for the Lake Quivira boats, that he was not opening it.
So it's more like a laydown yard than an RV boat storage facility. I think that was misrepresented originally. So as far as traffic on the road, you're not going to have public traffic you're basically, if you're going to store 70 boats, you're going to have 70 one-time trips a year on that road, bringing them, and then 70 one-time trips, taking them back in a year. So there's not a big traffic issue.
For now.
Was there opposition from neighbors? Was there
I don't believe
protests?
so.
So there were no protests by any of the neighbors?
Nope, no protest petition was filed for this application, and we never received any written comments. And going back to it would have been an August meeting, I don't believe anybody came out and spoke against it.
And so the way I'm looking at this is you pay taxes. I checked with the county appraiser's office again, and the statute reads you pay taxes where the boat sits on January 1. It's also difficult for the appraiser's office to get information about everybody's boats and RVs and planes out there. So I was thinking if we did approve this, it would be easy to make the list of the boat owners available to the Leavenworth County appraiser's office.
Or the storage facility, yeah, I can provide that.
To collect the taxes. So if the average is $300 a boat, 70 boats, that's $21,000 to Leavenworth County tax base.
$5 a boat.
$5 a boat? That'd be more than we're getting now on those boats.
I just.
Okay.
I don't think we wanna
It's not
open this
open to
can
the
of
public,
worms.
and this is all outdoor storage.
I don't think we want to open this can of worms. That's just I haven't changed my position from my original.
Okay, any more comments? Not, I'll take a motion.
I'd like to move that we approve Resolution 2021-48, a special use permit for a boat facility for Dusseler Boat Storage located at 15829 174th Street.
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? I'll call the roll. Commissioner Stephen?
Aye.
Commissioner Culberson?
Aye.
Commissioner Cause?
No,
No. Commissioner Smith?
I'm going to vote yes because on our work session here, I want to really talk about these SUPs and how we are limited because of the land use plan.
Okay.
And, I mean, I voted no earlier on the first one, but I do think we're limited in our SUPs, and I think they need to be handled on an individual basis. I don't want to disrespect the Planning Commission or staff for recommending denial, but I just think that we've cut ourselves short on these SUPs.
Okay. Well, it passes 3-2.
Well, does it pass? Because then we need a.
There was a valid protest petition, I believe.
No,
was
there
that
was-
the
no,
other
The
but-
one?
Planning Commission voted 9-0.
Yeah, not on this one.
So then it passes.
It
So,
passes.
okay, so it does pass.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's done.
I didn't know if that made a
Gotcha.
difference.
Gotcha. All right, moving on. Presentations. Mark? David, you have anything? No one else does? Okay. Comments, commissioners? Mike?
Having a town hall meeting tomorrow, the annex. Whoever wants to come out for my constituents to hear about whatever they're concerned about.
Lance
And then-
going to that also?
And Lance Neely's going to be there.
Anybody else besides
No,
Lance?
just I always invite the state rep to come. So
Good.
Senator?
I didn't invite the state senator. I should have, but but even when it was a previous state rep, I invited him.
Okay. Anything else, Mike?
That's it.
Jeff?
Nothing.
I have nothing, Doug.
Commissioner Cause and I attended JCAB last Thursday via Zoom. Attended our Zoom meeting on the Board of Directors of Mid-America Regional Council yesterday. I missed the Budget and Personnel one. Have Bayshore City Council tonight, Fairmount Township also this week, and I believe that's it.
All righty.
and I did attend city commission meeting last night.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cos. Is there anything else? Not. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
Motion and second. Commissioner Stephen?
Aye.
Culberson?
Aye.
Cos?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Smith.
Aye.
We are adjourned.